Alright everybody, Virtus Pro versus Fnatic is our first game today, and as you can see the draft has already started. Fnatic banned out Tyrande right away, and we have now Dragonshire as the starting map in our best of 3 here at the Heroes Battle Arena, powered by Twitch and G2A. Virtus Pro, of course, they have a couple of options here. We've seen oftentimes even a Sonya banned against Fnatic, even though for most teams she is not the priority ban. But Fnatic is extremely good with all of that aggression, and that Sonya in particular. Quacknix is usually playing the hero, which is why we occasionally see even that. The more popular bans these days are Khaldor, ETC, and ETC is actually banned out in this case now as well. The whole idea is, of course, to get rid of that Mosh Pit and the Divine Shield, but even without Uther as a combo, it's still a very powerful hero that can, of course, disrupt the opponent quite a bit, and on Dragonshire here in particular. Kalthas as a first ban, our first pick, is not really, well, it's not really out of the ordinary. It's actually like very common to see that these days. It's either him or Tyrande that most of the players are going for as the first pick. For Virtus Pro now, though, after we had those two bans, they have a few options of how they can start into the draft. Once again, it's more of a question of how valuable Jaina is to them. We see very, very often, especially in the European scene, a high focus on Falstad over Jaina, but both of them are absolutely playable, and it comes down to the personal preference a bit. But in terms of the heroes that it could start with, there's also an Uther to consider, there's a Muradin to consider. It really just depends of what kind of draft they want to go for. Do they want to go for some kind of a push comp? Do they want to go for a bit of a sniper comp or anything along those lines? If you have a Muradin, for example, he's probably right now the best tank in the game next to ETC. He's definitely the best solo tank, and there is a Muradin pick already. But they didn't really have to go for it. They have so many options to branch out at the start right now that it was an option for them, but it's not a necessity. And the Tassadar showcases that already quite a bit, because with Tassadar you are quite flexible into the next phase of the draft, but you don't really commit to something like an Uther just yet. But you have options to play Tassadar solo. You can play him together with another healer like Brightwing, for example, and that's what we could see from Virtus Pro here, who's of course a team that has also shown a lot of aggression in the past. Fnatic right now with the Kalthas already in their midst, they could start to head into a few, they could actually, for example, head into that Uther that we've just been talking about. They could think about the Sonya that I mentioned earlier. Fnatic loves to play Sonya, and there she is. An Uther would be very, very nice with Sonya, since you can use the Divine Shield to keep her alive. Tassadar was already taken away, so he's no longer an option in that case. But they could also decide, if they don't want to go for an Uther, to add another healer. And in their case, it is actually a Kharazim. Now, Kharazim is these days extremely interesting, since he can be played as a melee assassin damage kind of dealer as well. Team Liquid does that quite a lot. Fnatic now, with the Kharazim, they have options here, but it's likely that they're going to play him as one of their just like healers and play him with Transcendence on level 1 instead of the Iron Fist, which is still an option. For Virtus Pro, when it comes to the bans, Ethereal is their choice. So yeah, they actually like pretty fast with the draft today. I kind of like it. It's really nice that teams are not using the entire time pool anymore, but I really like getting into it. With Fnatic now going for their ban, considering what we're having on the side of Virtus Pro, they could really think about banning out some of the damage dealers. Falstad and Reyna are, of course, very strong options that we see for Virtus Pro. There's also still an Uther to consider, so they have to be a little bit careful how they continue the draft now, since if they let Uther go through and decide to ban one of the damage dealers, Virtus Pro has an option to go into a melee assassin that is then not only assisted by an Uther with the Divine Shield, but also by the Tassadar. And that's, of course, usually pretty difficult to deal with. So Fnatic might think about banning Uther instead, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. They ban out Uther, therefore limiting Virtus Pro's chances a bit, or at least the potential aggression with the melee assassin. Now, Virtus Pro can still go for a melee assassin, but it's not going to be as powerful as it would have been with an Uther together. In their case now, they need a bit of damage as well. So they need to think about Falstad, they need to think about Reyna, they can also like think about Vala, for example. We see a lot of teams these days also head into a Sylvana, so that's most like the heroes that we are seeing here. Keep Zagara in mind as well, who's very strong on Dragonshire, Tomb of the Spider Queen, and basically like on all of the maps, especially for Vision in particular. So they could play with the Zagara here if they really wanted to. They have at this point quite a few options. I still would think that they are going to take at least Falstad as one of them, since he is very, very strong and he's one of the most prioritized heroes in the European scene. But they start things off with that Zagara that I was just now mentioning. Usually you see her at the top lane, trying to play that lane solo and with a lot of creep tumors. On this map in particular, she's great to just get control of one of the shrines, since she has a lot of vision on the lane where she's at. And also next to the vision, she's also able to just push early game heroes back quite easily thanks to all those hunter killers. Pushing those out is for her usually pretty easy. But at this point, they need to really make a choice what else they want to drop here. And as I said, they could go into that false stat, but right now they choose a Reynor instead. So no false stat for them, but Reynor has a few disadvantages compared to the bird, but at the same time, he has, of course, also that sustain that is a little bit stronger, doesn't really have that, doesn't have an escape, but he has good zoning also with his Hyperion, which is very powerful indeed. For Fnatic, though, they could now go into false set if they wanted to. They are still short an auto attack damage dealer if they want one. They have Sonya and Karazim already. They need a frontliner now too. A Johanna would be an option. There's a couple of things that they can actually do when it comes to the frontliner. We've seen teams head into a few more Leorics. He's more popular in the Chinese scene and in the North American scene, but they go for a Chen. Chen here has a very interesting role now. The reason that they picked Chen is not only that later in the game he can be a very tanky frontliner. Chen is one of the few heroes that can go up against the Zagara in lane and can really bully Zagara. And they pick a Johanna then next to it. So that's a very smart setup. A lot of people look at this and they're like, oh my god, why did they pick Chen? And the reason is really that with Chen, you can play against Zagara quite efficiently. Chen can bully her, and every time that Hydralisk comes in, Chen just hits the brew and gets his shield back up, and you can get a lot of control on this map. There's a lot of teams that really just pick Chen because they want to have a counter against Zagara, but of course, he is also a little bit more effective than only that, but this is a very, very strong setup for them. They rely on Kel'Thas as the only damage dealer in the back, and they're going for 3 melee warriors up at the front line with another melee for the heals, Karazim, and him with his Transcendence. He is, of course, going to be able to just like heal all these melee heroes. Malfurion for Virtus Pro. Now that's an interesting choice. That's something that you see a lot on the North American server, where a Kel'Thas is oftentimes countered with a Malfurion. One of the things that Malfurion can really do here is, of course, also give mana to Zagara, which is going to be quite important. What they could have done as well is a Brightwing. Brightwing has the mobility on the map that is oftentimes needed on Dragonshire. They decide to go into the Malfurion. His tranquility is amazing, and there's a lot of things that he can really bring to the table with those heals. But it's a little bit unorthodox for Europe. It's not unheard of or anything. Malfurion is really good, and he is picked, but currently on the European scene we see other heroes a little bit more than him, but in this case he can deliver that mana at the beginning to all the other heroes. He has great heals as well, so he's a very solid hero. Is lacking an escape though when he gets jumped later on. So a pretty solid draft for both of the teams. We're going to check out which team is going to take the lead here at the Heroes Battle Arena between Virtus Pro and Fnatic on Dragonshire. Game number 1, everybody, starting up here at the Heroes Battle Arena with Fnatic going up against Virtus Pro, and to the left side of the map it is Breeze on Johanna for Fnatic. We have Smexy Style on Karazim, Shat on Sonya, we see Mane on Kel'Thas, and we have Chen, played by Antihero, who is currently subbing in for Quacknix. As far as I know, it's his birthday today, so that's why he's currently not playing with the team, apparently, like partying hard. Up to the right side, it is Virtus Pro, and we have BKB on Muradin, Sefkaja on Reyna, we have Unstable on Malfurion, Power of Dream on Tacita, and Andilendi on Zagara. Now, as of course mentioned already before, Antihero in particular is a very solid Chen player, which is definitely one of the reasons why they went for the hero here today. But at the same time, it's also a very good hero against Zagara at the top lane. And currently, they're already trying to set up a bit of a trap here. Looking at the talents on level 1, we don't really see too many things out of the ordinary yet, but not all of the heroes have picked their talents yet. We see Moonburn for Tassa, for Malfurion, which was of course more or less something that we expected here. Big focus into the mid lane right now, where they just burst the wave away and they're going in straight again. We have a very melee focused setup here on the side of Fnatic, and it's not really a surprise. Kel'Thas works quite well if you have this many melee heroes, and up at the top lane we have now Sefkaja and Antihero. There's already a bit of a shift with the laning. You can see that Zagara is not going to the typical top lane where we normally see her. She might actually stay at the bot lane with other heroes as well, because they are reacting to the draft that we've seen from Fnatic. So the draft already influencing the way that they are setting up the heroes on lane. In any other constellation, you would have seen that Zagara very likely setting up position up at the top lane and trying to secure the shrine. But since there is going to be that Chen playing, they need to make something against that. And of course, if you have Sefkaja on Reyna, then he with his penetrating round can interrupt Antihero as soon as he starts going for the shield. So that's going to be a very interesting battle up here at the top lane. And it forced the hand of Virtus Pro quite a bit. And down to the bot lane now, they have Zagara running in here. Shat getting kind of low, needed to get away there. And we have an adjustment in talents. Raider's recruitment has been taken as the level 1 talent. Very, very rarely that you see that. Actually, it's the first time that I've personally seen it. So this is really interesting because at this point, it's basically like his own version of Bribe, and it's pretty cool to see that. So far, I've never really seen that talent on Reyna, but then again, when we're talking Virtus Pro, they are a team that really likes to experiment with not only builds and lineups, but also, of course, with new talents, and that's what we're seeing here. Warpaint on Sonya for the sustain during the fights, and Power of Dream goes down as Sonya moves in with a spear and slams Tassadar into the next universe. He's already down. There's the level 4s as well. Chen, of course, going for his talent. Shat is low. Can they get him, though? He's already moving away, and here comes the jump by BKB. Breeze doesn't even have to take action. Muradin is already dead, and that's a double kill for Fnatic. They are extremely powerful these days, and for very good reason. We have right now Swift Reflexes taken. There's already a Dragonite, but the Roaches are interrupting that for now. Shat is still moving in with the Whirlwind, trying to get some sustain so that he gets his hit points back, but it was a very sweet interrupt here from Andy Lendi, who's trying to prevent the Dragonite for as long as he possibly can. Now in level 4, we still have the focus attack for Reyna. Could have gone for Give Me More or for the Season Marksman on level 1, didn't do that. Power of Dream now zoning out Mena as much as he can. And down to the bot lane, we're seeing two heroes trying to go for a shrine. Smexy style is trying to hold it for as long as he possibly can, but he has to move away, and that means in the mid lane there's no Dragonite possible anymore. Bottom lane, once again, here comes Shat, fully healed. He can go in and force Unstable back. BKB is with him, but they get control of the shrine again. Fnatic, that is. They're already on level 6. They have the control of 2, and here's Breeze, and he gets the Dragonite. 3 minutes into the game, and he's moving in with the Dragonite into the mid lane. We have him on level 4 with the Laws of Hope taken as the talent choice, and of course at the same time now also the pretty normal talents with the Netherwind, with the Protective Shield and the focus attack for Khaldor, Karazhan and Sonya. Yeah, Unstable and Virtus Pro, they are roughly a level behind already, and that's of course a bit of an issue here. They lost 2 of the heroes, now they're up against the Dragonite and the level 7 of their opponent, and that results in a heavy push down to the bot lane, where we are seeing Fnatic trying to capitalize on that lead that they have, and they are doing a very solid job. They have now the Brewmaster's balance after the Swift Reflexes on Chen, and are heading straight into the Ferocious Healing for Sonya, wearing the Fission Bomb for Kalthas, and Conviction for Breeze. The wall already gone, and that experience lead that we've been talking about for Fnatic is just increasing. They're going for the bot lane, and as soon as the well is down, the sustain on lane is going to be so much more difficult for Power of Dream and any hero that moves down to the bot lane here. They might even lose the fort if they don't rotate down, and they're just now sending heroes down from the mid and the top lane, and that might be a bit too late. Now Fnatic has to move back at least. Nice Iron Skin use here by Breeze, making sure that that Storm Ball didn't stun him out. But that's of course a very tricky situation for them now. Zagara went straight into Rapid Incubation for the lane sustain on level 7, and after the Rampant Growth from Furin on level 4, we are now seeing him with the Enduring Growth. So full heal talents as of now. We don't have any attempt to go into Cleanse or anything like it. Question of course is going to be if he feels the need to head straight into that Ice Block on level 13, or if we are going to see Life Seed as well. Down to the bot lane on the other hand, there's a fight for one of the camps, and it looks like we're going to see, yeah, Virtus Pro is going to steal this one. They get the camp stolen away. That's at least a small victory for them. But right now to the top lane, we're seeing Seth Kage in trouble. Antihero goes in, gets the kill. Well played here. Great job by him. And Breeze is even moving up to the top to help him out with this. They are going to de-push that camp, and they're extremely close to level 10 now as well. That should be an easy level 10 for them. And they have a 1.5 level lead at that point already, which kind of means that they will dominate this map for the next 1.5 levels. And that is going to be pretty tricky for especially Virtus Pro, since they might lose another Dragonite because of it. Now we have that battle finally between Chen and Zagara at the top lane, and you can already tell that Andy Lendi is taking quite some damage here. 7-sided strike has been chosen. Antihero did not go into the Wandering Keg, but instead went into Storm, Earth and Fire. We're having the Wrath of the Berserker. We're seeing Phoenix and the Blessed Shield taken. And BKB is trying to help out Andy Lendi at the top lane. Nah, Chen has to get away from this one. Not quite sure if he can though, but here's the Storm, Earth and Fire. Better safe than sorry. Uses his heroic and jumps in again. He's not gonna go down yet. And we have a 2-level lead for Fnatic in this first game of the best of 3 series. Down to the bot lane, the fort has fallen, and without the heroic ability, it's going to be a nightmare for Virtus Pro to try and deny that Dragonite now. Breeze is already moving into the mid lane, and that's an easy Dragonite right there. Or is it? Unstable moves in, Moonfire's Breeze, interrupts him, and Breeze is heading straight into the lane now and trying to get the minion wave. At the top lane, we have one of the shrines captured by Virtus.pro. They're very close to level 10 now themselves, as down to the bot lane, Shad and Sefkaja are still fighting against each other. Of course, that penetrating round of Sefkaja is also able to just interrupt that whirlwind. Tassadar went down, he was obliterated, and that leaves Fnatic again with nearly a 2-level lead over their opponents. 4 kills against 0, and they're starting to take the camps of their opponents away now as well. There's 4 heroes over here. Muradin jumps in a bit too late. That was a bit ballsy as well, because, well, it would have been 2 versus 4. And this is going to be a safe Dragon Knight for Breeze. No chance for Virtus.pro to interrupt this one. They already start moving in here. Breeze on his way into the middle. They're close to, well, not really close, but they're aiming for level 13 now. And level 13 alone is already going to be the next talent. And Virtus.pro, they really need a few kills now. They need to do something. Take a few kills, take a few structures, because at this point, they are just trailing behind and somehow trying to get back into the game. But it's really tricky for them. This might be a chance for them. Nice force wall. They go for Mena and they get their kill against Khaldor. That's exactly what they need right now. A few good kills, and they are trying to make that 2. Here comes the 7-sided strike as a dodge against the more Smexy style with the power plays here. I'm loving it. BKB missing the Storm Bolt, and now the dash by Smexy gets away. Great charism play right there. Dodging them all with the 7-sided strike was beautiful. Now he has to move away too, though, and he can't dash away. He dies in the end. And down over here, we have still that Dragon Knight active. Level 13 talents are ready. Breeze is dropping out, tries to go in with a Blessed Shield, but misses. Anilendi can't secure the kill. And down here, Shad is now trying to get away. Antihero attempting to zone for him. Here's already the Storm. Shad has the Mystic Spear, can use it, and jumps away. Well done. Sefkaja on Reyna in a little bit of trouble now. As a result, he overextended just slightly. Breeze and Antihero trying to go in and jump him. That's exactly what they're doing right now. Double Relentless taken for Chen and also Charism. They go in again, and here's the kill against Reyna. Khaldor is dead as well, though. Second time that Mena dies now. Shad moves in against BKB. BKB doesn't have the cooldown. Oh, the spear misses! But still, there's no way that he's going to survive this, is there? BKB might be able to jump away. He might try, though. But here comes Shad, moves in and hammers him into the ground. BKB jumping away, but Smexy style is already waiting for him. And now Shad is finishing what he started. The kill against BKB, that was the 6th kill for the team. We have 6 versus 3 kills, level 14 versus level 12. A long fight that we just saw there. And we have now 2 forts eliminated. Actually, let me double check. Yeah, 2 forts have been eliminated. We have only the one at the top lane still remaining. Very, very well done here. Once again, Breeze is starting to move in. Khaldor, of course, has at this point his chain bomb of level 13. That is going to help him to dish some of the damage out. In the last 2 fights, he was a bit unlucky and got taken out here right away. Now, though, he took one of the camps on the map, the Bruiser camp, claiming that, increasing the push up at the top. And with the level 13 talent that we're seeing now for Virtus.pro, they're once again on the same talent as Fnatic, but not for long. BKB is already there. They're jumping on Sefkaja. They're trying to go in and take him down. We have now also the Prescience taken. Here comes the 7-sided strike. Sonya is going in with the Breath of Berserker straight for Unstable, who uses Tranquility and gets away. BKB is moving in, jumps in, tries to stun, but we have now Anilendi in a bit of trouble. He's getting attacked immediately, doesn't get away. He explodes, used the more just before that. It's a 5 versus 4 against Virtus.pro, though. Fnatic is on the move, going for BKB. They move in and they get him. The kill against Muradin after a great gravity lapse from Mena. His Khaldor's play here, really solid. Died 2 times, but he was spot on in the rest of the fights. They go for the first keep of the game. They have level 16 now, a 2.5 level lead. The Khaldor's going straight for the Arcane Barrier. On level 16 now, we have the pressure point. Brewmaster's Balance is mentioned before as the level 7 talent, and it's with Reflexes on level 4 for Chen. And on level 16, we have the Circle of Life, imposing presence and no escape for Sonya. Shad playing a very aggressive Sonya style here now, and he's of course trying to carry that through the game. 2 heroes killed once again in level 16 versus level 13, so now we have down here to the bot lane not only a camp taken but also the shrine claimed. Sefkaja is a little bit too late to really interrupt that. Mena knows what's happening here, and therefore they're starting to jump in again. Breeze is going for the Dragon Knight and he gets it. That's one more Dragon Knight for Fnatic. Dragon Knight number 3. The fight is already ongoing down to the bot lane though, but that Bruiser camp is helping out Fnatic, and here comes Breeze moving in, trying to punt Malfurion away, and he is successful. Kicks
takes him out. The healer gone for now, and Sevkaja has to rush away here. BKB also on the retreat, and Tassadar, of course, is trying to just preload everybody with the shields. Seven-sided strike used on the other hand, and once again Fnatic is trying to chase their opponents. Here comes Malfurion with the Tranquility. Had to use it to keep them alive. Breeze is moving in. The keep already gone, but they're trying to go for core here apparently. They're trying to go for the lockdown. Can they get a kill before they start going for core? Doesn't look like it. They kick Sevkaja away with his Reyna, but everybody else on the side of Virtus.pro is still on full health. And so far it doesn't look like Fnatic can end it here. Anti-hero has to actually move away there. Once again a force wall, not trapping anybody though. Level 17 versus level 14, and Breeze is now starting to rotate straight into the middle to at least drop a tower or two, whereas the rest of Virtus.pro is finishing off the wave and then starts to rotate into the middle as well. Breeze already on the move back. He was able to eliminate one of the towers, but not more than that. Hydralisk already on the way, and here comes Breeze moving back. Great play so far by Fnatic. Really nice rotations on the map. They get the Dragonites, they control the objective, and that draft is really working out well for them. When it comes to damage, Khaldor is at 30,000 right now. We have Reyna on 39,000 on the other hand, doing an incredible job here, even without the seasoned marksman. Sevkaja, of course, didn't really get too much out of his level 1 talent just yet. I mean, he went for the Raiders recruitment, but I don't really feel that he got his money worth out of it. I feel that in this game, it would have probably been a bit better for him to go for seasoned marksman. I mean, hindsight is always 20/20. You don't know at the start of the game how much you will be pressured by your opponent, and so far the game hasn't really been going in their favor. So that was a bit of an issue, but that definitely didn't help. Now a quick pause here by the Russians, trying to get ready. Not quite sure what the problem is, but I hope it's going to be resolved soon. We have still a 2-level, 3-level lead nearly on the side of Fnatic, and over here we see the entirety of Virtus.pro starting to rotate into the middle to try and meet this attack that we're seeing from Fnatic. They have all 5 heroes here, and so far we have 8 kills against 5 in this game. And of course, it's going to be a pretty tricky without a level 16 talent to really do something against all of this aggression that we're currently seeing in the mid lane here. Fnatic is at least going to get the wall, and they're trying to go for the second keep. They already eliminated the one at the bot lane. And keep in mind that at the bot lane, we also have now 2 mercenaries pushing in. The 2 siege giants together with the catapults are going to make it very difficult to hold this lane without rotating any heroes in. And that's something that Virtus.pro will have to do. So it's really a bit of a dicey situation that we're seeing here for them. They have to somehow react to the bot lane once that it starts pushing in, and they have to meet that push that we see from Fnatic in the middle. There's not a single fort that has been claimed by Virtus.pro just yet, and as you can see, all of the towers at the bot lane and the mid lane and at the top lane are also still in play. So not a single structure was taken out by Virtus.pro, and Fnatic is already going through the first keep and they're aiming for the second one. So this is starting to get worse and worse for Virtus.pro here at the Heroes Battle Arena. I mean, this entire series is of course just starting up now. We have with Dragonshire our first map, and let's find out if Fnatic can really take it, or if Virtus.pro is starting a comeback. Once they hit level 16, they will have a fair amount of time where they can just like start to play on even talents against their opponents. So that is one of the things that can really work out here. Once again, we're seeing them starting to move in here. Anti-Hero, Breeze, Chat, Mene, and Smexy Style are already on the move, going straight in for the kill against the wall, and they take it down. And we have once more, of course, the move straight for the BKB at the front line. He's the only tank for the team, and that makes things a little bit tricky. We have also the move down straight for the well. Bot lane is still pushing, as already mentioned, and Power of Dream is positioning himself at between the 2 lanes so that he can use the Storm as well to just zone this out a bit. The wave is starting to push in, and Fnatic is continuing the pressure in the mid lane at the same time. Over here, we already have it happening. Down here, on the other hand, though, those catapults are really going to start to take the shield away from the core. So it's a tricky position for Virtus.pro, as mentioned before. Actually, the 2 mercenaries are going straight for the keep in the mid lane as well. That is a really annoying position at this point, and here comes Fnatic trying to protect them as well. Very tricky for Virtus.pro. They use the Hyperion, but Muradin gets blown to pieces. He barely is able to be kept alive by Tassadar and Malfurion. That was crazy that they could save him, but it's Reyna that dies now, and BKB, he might fall as well if he moves to the front again. He needs to heal up. They're trying to go for core here most likely. At least the mid keep is something that they should destroy, and Shat is already moving in. The shields are gone and the first hit points are being removed. Level 16 isn't ready yet for Virtus.pro, but it will be soon, so Fnatic has to make a choice. Do they really want to try and go for it, or do they retreat? If they retreat, they should at least go through the keep, but they have the core down to 84%. Mane is low though, and Shat is not looking too hot either. Smexy Style dashes away, dashes back again, and they can't take the keep. They should have maybe focused focused on it just a bit. Shad, can he maybe go in? He could have sacrificed himself and take it out, but that wasn't quite possible apparently. So at this point, they were a bit indecisive. They didn't really know if they wanted to go for keep or not, if they wanted to go for the core instead. Now it's 16 versus 16 talents, but it's still a 3-level lead, and Breeze is aiming for the next Dragonite. With the level 16 talents, we have Muradin now with the Stone Form, Bullseye for Reyna, Hardened Focus on Malfurion, who decided against Tenacious Roots, and the Dimensional Warp for Tassadar, so that he has some extra sustain during these battles. With the Brood expansion coming in for Zagara, which is of course heavily going to increase her damage. Antihero could even think about moving into the mid lane and try to take this. On the other hand, if they get a Dragonite, then they would be able to go through the keep immediately. Fnatic still looking very, very strong here, though. Once again, Sefkaje, Anilendi, Unstable, and Power of Dream are starting to rotate around. Top lane is being de-pushed. Shad, of course, has to face that camp at some point, but he doesn't really know the position of all 5 heroes of the opponent, so he stays on his mount for now and doesn't really engage the wave. Instead, they're just poking down here at the bottom, trying to go for level 20. Once again, they're starting to jump in immediately and go for BKB, and he goes down! It's a 5 versus 4, and that's a disaster now for Virtus.pro. Once again, the attack against Unstable. Hyperion is zoning him out for a second. The Gravity Lapse doesn't hit, but they can now move in and go for the next Dragonite. And that's exactly what we're seeing Breeze do, but he stays a bit too long in the range of the Hyperion. Has to wait a few more seconds, but now he has the Dragonite ready, and they are starting to move straight down to the bot lane. So now we have Antihero splitting with the Storm Earth and Fire. He goes for the keep immediately, and let's find out what they can do. I mean, this is going to be game. Yeah, definitely a bit of a question also if Sefkaje really wanted to go for the Reyna's recruitment. I kind of doubt it at this point. I think it was probably a misclick at level 1 here. But then again, I don't feel that it would have made a huge difference for them. They're starting to move in. The core here is going to fall. Reyna is dead. And now they are starting to just hammer down that core. And this is going to be game number 1 in favor of Fnatic in this best of 3 series at the Heroes Battle Arena, powered by G2A and Twitch.
Alright, game number 2 is starting up, and we have Cursed Hollow, Virtus.pro versus Fnatic. Fnatic was able to take the first game, and now Virtus.pro has the first ban, first pick. We could see a ban on ETC again. They banned him out in the last game already. I highly doubt that we're going to see a ban on Kalthas. Depends a bit on what they want to first pick. I mean, there's usually Kalthas and Tyrande, the 2 heroes that are probably first picked the most, I'd say. So there is a chance that they're going to ban out one of them, hoping that Fnatic will... well, I guess they're going to not ban out one of them. They're probably going to ban something else, hoping that Fnatic is going to ban one of the other 2 that I just mentioned. Then they have one of the solo picks. But yeah, at the beginning it's really just like the ban meta, or the mind games that you have there is pretty interesting. But Virtus.pro is taking Tassadar away first, and this is basically just saying, hey, listen, we want to make sure that there is a chance that you don't play with that Sonya because you don't have a Tassadar in their midst. Fnatic now has a couple of choices, actually. They could ban something like a Kalthas or a Tyrande, and I think that's very likely that they ban out one of the 2 of them. The cool thing is, imagine for a second that they ban a Kalthas right now. Virtus.pro can pick maybe even... They could actually like pick something like an Uther or an ETC, because if they pick the Kalthas, then Fnatic is most likely going to go into an ETC plus the potential Uther, could go into ETC and Sonya. They really value Sonya quite highly. We've been talking about this. There's quite a few mind games that go into this right now. If Virtus.pro would have banned one of the high priority picks, not saying that Tassadar is bad, but it's not on the same level as a Tyrande or Kalthas, then it would have been a completely different match. And now there's the ban on Tyrande. So now Virtus.pro has the choice. Either they go into the Kalthas, and they do. They could have also just decided to go into either ETC or Uther to make sure that Fnatic doesn't get that combo. I actually doubt a little bit that Fnatic is going to go for the combo, but they could still go into the ETC right now and could then add something else for their own draft. ETC and Sonya, for example. They are one of those teams that really value these heroes extremely highly, and that could lead to them putting an early focus on them, even though other teams would most likely go into a bit of different route. There's the ETC, and it's a false stat over the potential Sonya. Falset actually extremely good. I mean, on this map in particular, he's even stronger than on other maps. He still has that global advantage, of course, obviously, but he can also like steal bosses away, which is incredibly powerful. if you're playing well on this map. And with them taking the ETC, they're already signaling to Virtus.pro that Virtus.pro has to do something about Uther. They have to either ban him or they have to make sure that they are just taking him because, well, Fnatic doesn't really put the highest focus on that combo, but if they get the opportunity to get that in the second pick phase of the draft, they're definitely going to take it. So Virtus.pro has to do something about Uther. They take Ethereal first of all, and there's the Uther also taken right away, so they don't want to ban him out. Fnatic at this point have, of course, to think a bit about what they want to get rid of now first. There is still a Zagara that they could personally consider to take. They could also ban her out. She's strong on this map as well. There is also the opportunity for them to just go ahead and ban one of the range damage dealers out. I mean, there's still, like, we could talk about the Sylvanas even here, but also quite likely something like a Reyna that is being banned out. He's very powerful on this map thanks to the Hyperion and his zoning ability when we are talking about a tribute fight, when we're talking about a boss fight. And Fnatic might try to get rid of him. They already have one auto attack damage dealer, so they can run with him here. Another hero that we sometimes see banned out early in the game, which has not seen any recognition in this draft here, is an Abathur. I highly doubt that Virtus.pro is actually going for an Abathur because, let's face it, they don't really have heroes that work too well with him just yet as a potential copy. And normally you want to go for a copy hero. But in this case, it would be something that maybe Fnatic could think about. Usually you commit, and there is the Abathur ban therefore. Okay, so Fnatic could have gone for Abathur. Virtus.pro realizes that as well, ban him out. Fnatic banned Muradin, which actually I find a little bit surprising. They could have taken him, but I suppose they want to play with that Sonya again and not going to go straight into a triple warrior setup. So I think a Sonya for them is rather likely. What else could they take here? Could go into the Charism again if they wanted to. That Raynor is still available and is something that they could claim now. If they don't want to play Charism, well, they have a false stat. They don't necessarily need Brightwing. I suppose Charism is a bit stronger in that regard. We have false stat together with Sonya now, so Sonya, as expected, is taken by them. And if they really want to go for a second damage dealer from the backline, then Reyna would be a good pick because they would also pick him away from Virtus.pro. Still, there's quite a lot of options what they have right now. They don't really need to go into the Charism now. If they want to like keep him as a last pick, it's very unlikely that he's getting picked away. If they want to react with the last pick, though, then they're going to pick him now, and that's what they do. They pick him now, and they will react to the last pick to whatever Virtus.pro do now. So they don't really have a hero where they're saying, hey, we need to take that away. Virtus.pro now still has the opportunity to go into Reyna, for example, as a range damage dealer with auto attacks. But Fnatic just has a bit more freedom when it comes to the last phase of the draft because they can say, hey, let's wait what they do and let's see if we can react to this. Virtus.pro could play that Zagara. They could play also with that Reyna that we already mentioned. Besides that, we might see them with another frontliner here. They could theoretically also try to go into a melee assassin. I mean, we're talking about Uther here. We're having Ethereal as well. That was old school when you were trying to go into an Illidan composition, for example. Illidan is not only the only melee assassin that you can play in a case like this. We have actually seen a pretty high focus on melee assassins overall in a lot of the recent games. Sonya is oftentimes being played a bit like a melee assassin. Charism as well, we've been talking about that too. But they decide to go into a super heavy front line with an Arthas here now, first of all. And that's already an interesting touch. Like, that Arthas is going to be very, very tanky. But now they still need a bit more damage. And I still could see that Reyna taken if they don't want to go into Zagara. Both of them are solid. Zagara can combo the more off the Howling Blast on Arthas. Reyna, on the other hand, is strong for the fights. We've been talking about it for like zoning abilities with the Hyperion. Then again, the more for sectioning off small groups in a battle is also very extremely good. So they have preferences, and it's Sylvanas instead. Okay, that works too. I didn't really feel like they would go into the Sylvanas here. We've been talking about her in the first draft. Fnatic is now the team that can head into Arena, into a Zagara. They have these options. Zagara can be very powerful with an TTC together as well, because you can basically go from a mosh pit into a maw and then power slide through the entirety of that setup again. So this is a matter of preference what you want to go for. Bit of damage would be likely. I guess they could go for another frontliner too if they really wanted to, if they feel that they need a heavier frontline. But they go into a Vala, which is usually taken after Reyna. Still very strong though. At this point, she actually gets a little bit more play, especially on the Chinese server. Like, I started casting the Gold League matches as well, like a lot of the Chinese games, and Vala over there is a little bit more popular than Reyna, I'd say. So she's also very cool. She has the opportunity to just like use her composite arrows as an
tool to just zone out these tributes even more, interrupt channels. So pretty interesting setup that the last two picks, we have our two girls, we have Sylvanas and Vala. Sylvanas is usually a hero that we see a bit more often on maps where the objective pushes. Battlefield of Eternity with the Immortal, Infernal Shrines with the Punisher. But if you capture a boss on Cursed Hollow, she can, of course, in that case, fulfill very much the same purpose. You disable the structures, and you get more pushing power out of the objective, or out of, like, a big mercenary camp. So in this case, she can work here too. As I said, she's a bit more popular on other maps, but she's still very strong on this one here now as well. And that Wailing Arrow is, of course, going to be another great tool to interrupt the potential ETC mosh pit, even though we already have Kalthas here, which can use his Gravity Labs. Overall, pretty solid draft. We're going to jump into game number 2 on Cursed Hollow to find out if Fnatic is going to be able to claim this with a 2-0 victory, or if Virtus.pro is going to tie the series and forces game number 3 out of Fnatic. Second game, everybody, at the Heroes Battle Arena, powered by G2A and Twitch, between Fnatic and Virtus.pro. And to the left side, we have Fnatic with a 1-0 lead in the best-of-3 series. Breeze is playing ETC for the team. We have Shad again on Sonya. Anti-hero this time on Vala. We're seeing Min on Falstad and Smexy on Karazhan. To the right side of the map, Virtus.pro down 1 game. They need to win this one if they want to have a chance to win the best of 3. We have BKB currently on Arthas. We see Power of Dream on Tyrael, Unstable on Uther, Sefkaja on Sylvanas, and Andy Lendy on Kalthas. Talking about the last game, by the way, we weren't quite sure if that Reyna's recruitment on level 1 for Sefka's Reyna was actually a misclick or not, and I asked him after the game, and he said that it was intended. Was not a misclick. He fully intended to go for Reyna's recruitment, but it did not work out the way that they wanted to play it here. Now on level 1, we see him with a Wind. On the American server, you will see a lot of barbed shot. That's one of the huge differences between the builds for Sylvanas on the North American server and the European server. Progrock as the talent on level 1 for ETC. We're seeing Vala with a multi-shot build with a composite arrow on level 1. With a lot of regeneration talents on the side of Virtus.pro, heading into a double regeneration master and 1 Conjurer's Pursuit. Still a trap attempt down here and the attack already. If you have a Sylvanas in your midst, you can easily go for these fights. Sefkaja is already jumping back. He knows that there's no stun available to the opponent, so he can stay a little bit longer up at the front line and eat that damage and then safely jump back with a Haunting Wave. We're seeing on level 1 now also the Shot of Fury taken for Sonya. We have Seasoned Marksman for Falstad, which is pretty much the norm. I mean, the talent got moved. You have on level 4 still the opportunity to go into the Power Throw for the extra length on your hammering. And that's something that they're going to utilize then together with the secret weapon on level 7. Nice move here. And Sylvanas can actually jump away. At that point, probably the adrenaline for Sefka was pumping a bit because, well, that could have resulted in him dying if that Haunting Wave expires. But he's able to jump away after the stun duration is over, so that was pretty solid. Okay, so at this point, we're having up to the top lane, Sefka, Power of Dream, and Andy Lendy already in position to try and push this lane in. With Sefka, there has to be a rotation from Fnatic. They have to just start to rotate against Sylvanas, because Sylvanas is always going to go in with like 1 or 2 heroes trying to just push these waves, and you can really tell how much damage that already does against the towers here. Very well done. Great job. Very well. And well, with that, they take a slight inexperience, but it's actually not really too significant if you think about it. Fnatic is playing quite nicely against this. We're seeing at the same time now in the mid lane, we're having already Unstable here in position, and we're seeing up to the top lane now still that push going on. So right now, Shad starting to whirlwind in and immediately gets hit by a Gravity Lapse. Oh, Sefkaja, this time he does not get away. Was trying to use the Haunting Wave again, but no chance. Sylvanas down. And Fnatic is doing an incredible job. I mean, considering that they have not been taking down any structures, but they lost the tower at the top lane and nearly lost the one in the mid lane here. They are still not even experienced. They're doing very well here. So we have down to the bot lane still that fight between Antihero and Power of Dream, but nothing too much has been happening here. First tribute is now on the map, and Antihero is starting to rotate up to the top lane. With level 4 talents, we see just the normal builds continue. Andy Lendy goes down, and even though he used the Gravity Lapse against 2 heroes, he was still killed. And now that could be a tribute in favor of Fnatic. With the new scaling and also the death time, as of course a bit more time until Kalthas is going to be back in the fight, they still interrupt the Karazhan channel. Power of Dream is now also moving in. ETC is still at the bot lane, so Fnatic is not going to go full on out on this tribute, but they're still fighting for it here. And as long as ETC is soaking experience, it's all good for them. ETC took the wave at the bot lane, so this is a bit more pressure against it, and he can now take the one in the mid lane as well, which he is very likely to do, unless they are really determined to take the tribute. And yes, apparently they are. They're starting to move in up to the top. ETC went straight for his power slide talent on level 4 after he chose Proc Rock on level 1. Destruction for Arthas. Amplified healing for Tyrael, and here comes that fight again with Anti-Hero trying to zone as much as he can with his arsenal and composite arrow talents. Goes in with a multi-shot and hits that one time after another. They're trying to push the opponent back. Level 7 is going to hit a bit earlier for them, and maybe they can put that to some good use if Shed is able to soak some more experience, but Falstad is in trouble. Mena moves away. The kill against Arthas on the other hand. Sefkash jumping in with a Haunting Wave, uses his Envenom, but Smexy Style is ready to save Falstad. And now they once again have a lead thanks to the extra talent. We're seeing Face Melt taken, the loudspeaker talent here for the extra knockback. They're having the searing attacks for Vala. And of course seeing the secret weapon for Falstad, who's going to jump in again. And right now, ferocious healing for Sonya. The tribute is still on the map, by the way. 4.5 minutes in, and we still have the first tribute. And Arthas is coming back into the fight. So does Mena, and they kill Tyrael. Kill number 4 in favor of Fnatic. They move in once again. Mena dodging that Howling Blast, moving away for now. No level 7 talent yet for Virtus.pro, but there it hits finally, and that gives us Rune Tap on Arthas. He has a bit more sustain now. Tyrael with battle momentum, but BKB falls again, and it might also be the death of Sylvanas, who's trying to move away with a Haunting Wave, but it's a little bit too late for her. Great kills here for Fnatic. 6 kills against 0 already. They channel the tribute. 5 minutes in, the first one has finally been taken. Great moves here on the side of Fnatic. And now we are only missing, look at Uther. Only missing Uther with his level 7 talent. They takes it. He goes for Clairvoyance, so Vision. And that's actually pretty smart. I mean, after we saw that nerf to Cleanse a few patches ago, a lot of people were talking about Cleanse as a talent if it's really still viable, and most players still decide to go into Cleanse on level 7. But now on Uther, you have really a couple of options that you can go for. We oftentimes see his like Burning Rage equivalent on level 7 when you're playing against the Zagara, so that you can take down the creep tumors. In this case, they decided that Cleanse is not really a talent that they necessarily need, and go instead into Clairvoyance, because it gives you vision on the map, and that's great when you're trying to determine whether or not your opponent is attempting to head straight into a boss, for example. So it can be a great talent. So an adjustment to the situation in the game and the map, and I like that a lot. Sefkash down here is in a bit of trouble, needs to jump away with the Haunting Wave, but it's too late. Anti-Hero sees an opportunity, jumps in and takes the kill. And Fnatic is by now a level ahead, but they lost Sonya. Sonya was taken out at the top lane over here. Great job by Anilendi and BKB, Howling Blast and a Gravity Lap, so the other way around apparently. First kill, by the way, for Virtus.pro. They lost 7 heroes already, so when it comes to kills, it's really a no-brainer who's winning this right now. We have now the level 10s ready for Fnatic, and that of course means free tribute, probably a little bit more than that even. Power of Dream is waiting around for a long time, trying to interrupt that and delay it for as long as he can to get some extra experience. And the mid lane was heavily pushed thanks to the setup with the Bruiser camp. But still, we have now Divine Palm, Mighty Gust, Strafe, Wrath of the Berserker, and also the Mosh Pit on the side of Fnatic. Whereas the move down to the bot lane is already revealing that they're attempting to move in with 3 heroes against the lane once more. And that's 3 structures right there. Falstad is flying back in, but if he doesn't use the Mighty Gust, yeah, okay, they're moving away for now. They're actually like very afraid that there's a rotation happening against them. BKB even with a Howling Blast into the bush, but now they have level 10 and they can finally start and fight again. ETC with a double Mosh Pit. The Divine Shield is saving Sylvanas, but Kel'Thas is blown to pieces. And Fnatic bursts through the wall. They take the towers, and it was a great kill here once again. 8 kills against 1. Kel'Thas is dead, and Sylvanas would have actually died if not for Unstable, who used the Divine Shield in the last second to keep her alive. Another tribute is now on the map. And this is starting to get really, really dangerous for Virtus.pro, because if they lose the tribute, then they're going to be cursed, and that is a huge problem. So right now, Breeze and Anti-Hero are already on their way into the tribute position. They're starting to take a spot there, whereas Smexy Style has a bit of a fight going on with Power of Dream right now. Everybody else is starting to move away. Here comes the tribute, has been taken, curse is happening, and that's an issue right now, of course, for the team around Sefkaja and BKB. So in the mid lane, there's already the wave push. Up at the top, we're going to see the same thing in just a second. This wall is most likely going to fall, and now Fnatic can make the choice if they want to go for the structures and push the lanes, or if they want to go for a boss, which is very often the case if a team has the curse against the opponent, because you put your opponent into a loss-loss position. Either they contest you at boss, then all of the waves are pushing against them and they're going to lose structures, or they defend the lanes, then they are going to lose the boss, And the boss alone is going to do quite some damage. In this case, Fnatic decides to not go for boss just yet. They are starting to take down structures, and the bot lane is the first one that they eliminate. Smexy style already busy in the mid lane, trying to do the exact same thing over here. So he goes straight forward. Level 10 talents on the side of Team Virtus Pro. I haven't really talked about it yet. You probably already saw it, the right side of the map. We have the Army of the Dead. We have Sanctification, Divine Shield, Wailing Arrow, and Phoenix taken. And now with the level 13s, Fnatic is taking a very comfortable lead again, with an extra talent, with a spell shield even on the side of Shat, because he decided that on his Sonya, he this time needs a bit more sustain and can't go into his normal talents. I mean, we oftentimes see him on level 13, or in general, not even like with a level 13 talent. Oh, actually, wait a second. First of all, we have a boss now claimed and contested, but it's still level 13 talents. Mane flies in, could go straight. Sanctification already used on the point. Here comes a quick Mighty Gust. Mane moves in. ETC was trying to go for the mosh pit, but not successful. Power of Dream and BKB are nearly dead, but so are the guys on the side of Fnatic, and Sonya is about to die. Arthas dies at the same time. A massive brawl happening, and there's the double kill, the triple kill against Tyrael, Uther, and Sylvanas. The boss has been claimed, and it's a quintuple kill, a multi-kill. It's like whatever you want to call it. It's a full team wipe. I mean, they get every single one of them. It was a very cool approach, actually, from Virtus Pro. I mean, that nearly worked. They got Sonya down, and that was extremely close, but at this point, it was just a bit too much. With a level 13 talent on Khaldor, they would have definitely won that fight. But as is, with only level 10 talents versus level 13, they were just ripped to pieces over here, and not really what they wanted. As I said though, like, especially Sonya decided to go into the spell shield against Khaldor instead of the mystical spear, which you usually see on her for the mobility on the map. Could even decide to go into the Nerves of Steel on level 16. In the last game, if you remember, they went instead into No Escape for the extra power, and once again the kill against Tyrael. Fnatic is just so good at finding these small opportunities to take a target down, and they take them immediately, every chance they get. And now 10 minutes, 11 minutes into the game, they're gonna go for the keep here. They're about to maybe even take another hero down if they can get a bit closer to BKB. In terms of damage, we have 28,000 on Vala. Falstad actually is currently at 26,000, trailing even a bit behind. Season Marksman stacks are of course going to increase the damage towards the later stages of the game. And the Buccaneer skin already been put to use for some funny sounds effect and the quick fly up to the top lane to soak the XP. So now, that being said, we have 13 and 16 talents in, and there we have it. No Escape, the talent on 16 for Sonya. We have also now, of course, the Hammer Time. We have Speed Metal taken for ETC. We are seeing for the Circle of Life for Charism for the extra heals. And we have Vala with the Blood for Blood. Same time though, the level 13 talents. I mean, it's still a 3-level lead that we're seeing for Fnatic here, and they have 14 kills against 2. There's very little to say about that. These guys just play an incredible Heroes of the Storm. There's a reason why they won DreamHack. These guys are good. They are damn good. They're maybe the best in Europe right now, and they're definitely one of the top 2 teams together with Team Liquid. No questions asked. Relentless taken on Arthas. Good lockdown against Sonya. Silence hitting her hard. And Divine Palm is saving Shat. Great play here by Charism. That was definitely needed, but Shat is still going to fall here. Shrink Ray was also used against him, but Tyrael is also dead, and that puts this fight into a 4 versus 4. Keep in mind that Virtus Pro is fighting without the additional level 16 talent. Sevkash in a bit of trouble, jumps away with a Haunting Wave. At the same time, Anti-Hero and Smexy are also in a bit of trouble, but Charism heals everybody out. Falstad is already at the Tribute, and this would be the 4th Tribute in a row for them. Netherwind used, but Anilendi is not hitting it since Mena was already moving back. 15 kills against 3, and we have the bot lane pushing hard against that corner. There's already 2 of the catapults, and the 3rd one will follow soon. At the top lane though, ETC with a mosh pit, but a nice interrupt. The problem is that BKB might still die. He went for the Howling Blast, but him and Uther, they are both down. Gravity Lapse did not do anything here, and at the same time now the Mighty Gust pushing everybody away. Smexy started eating a bit more damage, and this is of course brutal. This could be another boss easily. If you're finding yourself in a 5 versus 3 situation, you can go for one of those big mercenary camps on the map if you want to. Virtus Pro has the problem that they're constantly just like fighting against an opponent that is ahead in talents, and that is a massive, massive problem for them. The shields are being attacked by the waves, they have to rotate down to soak the experience, and they're doing what they can, but they are starting to lose more and more ground on the map. They lost one of the keeps already earlier, and now they're losing the fort in the mid lane. It's a great position here for Fnatic, and they are exploiting those advantages as much as they can. They're forcing Virtus.pro into fights. Virtus.pro is taking them though, and they lose Tyrael again. Tyrael didn't even have the chance to use his Ruin Smite to jump out of this one because he just gets locked down by ETC and the rest of the team. And with all these minute stuns that they chain up, they get kill after kill after kill. They have 18 kills against 3 right now. It's a disaster for Virtus.pro. They're already down 1 game in the best of 3 series, and it's not really looking like they are going to tie the series up here. Cursed Hollow might be the last map that we are seeing today, since they are not looking like they can start this comeback. Maybe with a level 16 talent they can make some plays. For now, BKB is trying to get experience at the bot lane for his team, and they really need it. I mean, they need that extra talent. They shouldn't try and fight before that happens. That is not Tribute Curse yet, so letting that go and waiting for the level 16 talent is the right choice. Fnatic so far didn't make any moves towards the boss at the top lane. You have to keep in mind that Virtus.pro has fought now twice without the talent or that the opponent already controlled, and were still very close to winning the fights. So they have actually pretty decent control during the battles themselves. It's just that extra talent that is missing for them, and which puts them behind. Once they start to fight on level 16 talents, they might have an opportunity here. But again, Virtus.pro is moving in. Already a Phoenix for the zoning, unfortunately for them, at the wrong position. Was just more or less indicated to make sure that nobody is flanking them. So more of a safety Phoenix than anything else. Cooldown is only 40 seconds, so no problem. BKB is taken out though just as they hit level 16. This is so unfortunate for them. There's already the stone skin for him now. We have, of course, our level 16 finally here. The Holy Ground. We're seeing Benediction, Cold Embrace, and the Arcane Barrier, but they have to wait until Arthas is back, and once that's the case, they might be able to force a team fight that they can claim. They've done a really good job in the 5 versus 5 battles, but they were always at a disadvantage because of talents, and now they have to just wait until BKB is back and then try and fight on even talents with their opponent and get... I mean, let's face it, they kind of need a team wipe here. They need really a huge win, or they are not going to make it, and they need to win at the Tribute now, and they don't even rotate because they know they can't do it just yet, and that's going to be another curse against them. With Arthas dying earlier up at the top, this is a big deal, and right now with 19 versus 16 the curse happening, they were attempting to go for a boss, but they already realized that there's a rotation happening for Fnatic up to the top lane, so they can't do it. Once again, Smexy dashes away, 2 mana, well played. Very smart plays by Fnatic here. I really like that they move on the map. They go for Unstable, they're trying to get the kill, and they do. Now Power of Dream is also in trouble, but he gets healed by the Uther Ghost and drops Sanctification. The kill against Sylvanas to the right side, thanks to Anti-Hero, is more or less sealing the deal though. They are starting to go in again. They can either go for core or just drop all of those keeps right now. Whatever they want. Nice Mosh Pit to eliminate Kel'Thas. Well done. Good Divine Palm to save Anti-Hero on Vala, and they might even get the kill against Power of Dream now. Yes, indeed they do, and that is going to be the core. They move in, level 20 versus level 16. Great play here on the side of them. They play an incredible game. Very well done. Congratulations, and GG. Well played by Fnatic, taking it here at the Heroes Battle Arena with a 2-0.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is GG and the end of another series here on Khaldor TV with Heroes of the Storm. So once again, we have another video finished, and I hope that you enjoyed the commentary and that you liked the game, of course, as well. It was a pleasure casting the match for you. And if you guys really enjoyed it, then make sure that you give that video a thumbs up on YouTube. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, feel free to do that too. If you have friends that are interested in Heroes of the Sports esports scene, then definitely recommend the channel to them, or just show them the video if they want to see like a bit how the pros are drafting here, especially of course when it comes to the North American scene, European scene. And I mean, these days we even have a couple of Chinese games on the channel here, so I hope that you enjoy that as well. That being said, thank you very much for watching again. I'm going to see you guys next time with more Heroes of the Storm content here on the channel. Have a great day and enjoy your week, and see you soon. Bye bye.